Hey guys, welcome back to MMA Library. Today in MMA and UFC news. In a recent video uploaded to his YouTube channel, Henry Cejudo said he believes that Alexander Volkanovski is making a huge mistake by stepping in as the backup for the UFC lightweight title fight between Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev this Saturday. Here's the clip.
A lot of you guys are going to think I'm being a hater, but I'm going to tell you why this is a mistake for Alexander Volkanovski. Alexander Volkanovski, number one, you're going to get that second title shot. Why don't you just wait? If for some reason Charles Oliveira pulls out of the fight, because that's the only guy that will literally pull out of the fight because of weight issues or X, Y, and Z of not making weight. But that being said, if let's say hypothetically, if you were to fight a guy like Islam Makhachev, that's the worst matchup that you could ever pick. It's not a smart idea, Alexander. I'm gonna give you an example. Like for me, I will never be a replacement fight. You know why? Because I take my credentials too serious, as I should. I take my career, my legacy too serious, as I should. You are pound for pound right now. You will lose that.
Luke Rockhold recently spoke about his relationship with Dana White and says he took a polo sponsorship deal to try to earn some respect with the UFC. It definitely felt good to get that respect I felt I always deserved, but I guess you've got to get dirty and nasty sometimes to show people who you are. People want to assume I'm this, people want to assume I'm that. I'm sure the polo modeling deal didn't help, people just hated me more. But that was the thing with Dana in the first place. He disrespected me when I lost the title and said, you weren't this, you weren't that. I'm like, dude, I'll go make my money elsewhere. He's like, fine, go do it. And guess what? I became the face of Polo Ralph Lauren. I had a worldwide commercial, I had my face in every airport around the world, and then Dana and the UFC were like, oh, we can give you this and we can give you that. I did it so I could have leverage and respect. That's why I did that. That was the whole point of that situation, and I got some back. But then I got a lot of disrespect from it because the whole world is just naive and they paint the picture for what they want the world to believe. Chael Sonnen recently gave us his opinion on who he believes should be next in line for a lightweight title shot. Here's the clip.
I'm so looking forward to Islam versus Oliveira for multiple reasons, not to mention I'm surprised within myself. When I look at the man in the mirror, I'm surprised. And who's looking back at me wants to see that fight, because I didn't want to see that fight. I never wanted to see that fight. I just didn't want that fight when Oliveira started pushing for it. I already knew it was going to happen. I had this whole thing figured out. There was no anticipation, and I can't wait for it. I'm not asking for you in this piece to predict who takes on the winner of Charles and Islam. That's actually not what I'm asking. What I'm trying to do is to bring forward to your attention that nobody is positioning themselves to do that. Possibly the absolute best argument that we've seen that has gone to the public is none other than Volkanovski. And I'm not sure what the resistance is with Volkanovski. I'm also not sure that we're moving on past the opportunity of Volkanovski, right? If we were, then either Josh Emmett or Yair Rodriguez would have already been matched up with Volkanovski, who says he's ready, willing, and able. The fact that we haven't made a title fight for Volkanovski as his weight tells me that someone somewhere is at least open to the idea of Volk coming up. Is that our answer?
We recently got a bit of an update on Jon Jones' situation and when we may see him return to the UFC. Ariel Helwani tweeted, UFC has been in dialogue with Jon Jones' team about fighting in the main event on December 10th, sources say. I'm told Jones wants in. Initial hope was Ngannou Jones, but given Ngannou's knee recovery and contract status equals a long shot. Option 2 is Miocic, but that's not close to done. He followed up with, if they can get Jones and Miocic done, that'll be the UFC 282 main. If not, the main will be Prochazka Teixeira 2, and if they can get Jones and Miocic for 12-10, they'll set their sights on doing Ngannou Jones in March if Ngannou resigns. Developing. In a recent post to social media, Aljamain Sterling takes a shot at TJ Dillashaw. Here's the clip.
Hey social media world, I have just one question for you. I really been wondering this. For this training camp for UFC 280, where do you guys think TJ really stuck those needles up his ass? Or maybe his ribs, or I don't know. Like for this one, I just want to know if he put it in the same spot that he put it in the last place, or if he picked a different spot that might go undetected. I don't know how this works, so I'm asking you guys if you have any insight whatsoever. Because look at his body. I don't know. It doesn't look like mine. Comment below, because I'm really curious. TJ, care to shed some light for us?
What do you guys think? Is TJ Dillashaw still on PEDs? Or is Aljamain Sterling hoping to use it as an excuse if he loses his title next weekend? Let us know in the comments below. In a recent interview, Jorge Masvidal had a message for Leon Edwards. Edwards recently came out and said he wouldn't be fighting Masvidal unless he got a huge win under his belt. Here's the clip.
I don't know what's happening right now. Leon's, getting a little cold feet. I don't know what it is. He doesn't want to lose in England again to me, so it's kind of ignoring my phone calls.
Well, one of the things that came out of this is that in MMA, we always say strike the word deserves from your vocabulary, because that just doesn't matter. Meritocracy in a lot of ways doesn't matter. It's what's going to put butts in seats and what's going to drive revenue. And a lot of people like to throw out, fans in particular, because they could be fickle as hell, that, well, maybe Jorge Masvidal doesn't deserve this fight. And you had jumped on Twitter and be like, who are you to tell me what I do and don't deserve? So can you talk about that for a second? Can you kind of expound on that a little bit? Because that seemed to really get your attention a little bit. You fired back saying, who are you to tell me what I deserve? I've been doing this a long time. We got a story. This is a big money fight. What's going on here?
For starters, everybody has an opinion and everybody's entitled to it. So if people think I deserve it or not, awesome, man. I don't take nothing to heart. I definitely feel I deserve it. I definitely seen, just from the money side, we definitely deserve it. Just from the fan side, we definitely deserve it. Who doesn't want to see me fight Leon? They might say I don't deserve it, but they would still raise their hands in the dark and quiet and be like, I want to see that fight, and I'm actually going to pay my hard-earned money to go see that fight. So I don't agree with that, I mean, Hendo had beaten Bisping, and then when Bisping was champion, I think Hendo was maybe very similar to me. He was not even in the top 10, at the time. They just dropped my ranking as well. So, they brought Hendo in there, fought Bisping in England, gave him a tough fight, ended up going 5-round decision. Bisping won in England. Probably could have gotten to Hendo. I remember being a very close fight, but it happens. It's a fight world. There was a story there. If that had a story, this has a movie between me and what's his face, So why not give the fans what they want,
Julianna Pena has recently clapped back at Daniel Cormier because he said she doesn't deserve the trilogy fight with Amanda Nunes. Julianna recently shared a post on social media which had a quote from Daniel Cormier stating, Julianna Pena's work hasn't warranted an immediate rematch against Amanda Nunes. To this, Pena posted, DC, why you hating, playa? You got an immediate trilogy with Stipe Miocic after he finished you in the rematch. You have more title fights in the history of the UFC. Dang, let me live. In a recent interview, Tyron Woodley has come out and said he's hoping to fight Nate or Nick Diaz in the near future and to make a few $1 million from the event. Here's the clip.
A guy like Nate Diaz, who's kind of in that situation where he could still re-sign with the UFC, but he could go.
He could fight me.
He could,
make some real money.
He could do something like that. What would you advise somebody in that situation right now?
Nate Diaz, I would tell him that he a boss. He a G. He did what he needed to do. I think the fight against Tony Ferguson was a fight he should have had anyway. And sometimes karma and sometimes things work out the way they're supposed to work out. I'm tired of them trying to feed the people that really built a not the whole organization, but him and his brother built kind of like the bad boy organization. Tito Ortiz started it, but I do believe you got to give credit to Nick and Nate for being unapologetic and being like, I'm being me, I ain't changing it. And then everybody went to their tune. So you got to give him his stripes for that. I would suggest he go and get paid top dollar. I would suggest that he do what makes him feel good. If he still wants to do it, when he wants to do it. That's what I would suggest. And I suggest him come over on this side and make some money with me, because I got a good opportunity where me and Nick or Nate, or both of them, can make quite a few millions of dollars fighting each other. So I don't know if y'all got contact with them, but I was just texting somebody before y'all hit me up. How do you get in touch with Nick and Nate? So it's funny you even said that, but I got a pretty big opportunity where I feel like we can walk away very handsomely.
Guys, thanks so much for checking out the video. If you like the content we do here on this channel, don't forget to like and subscribe to MMA Library for all the latest MMA and UFC news. We'll see you in the next video.